some women become delusional, for lack of a better term, for the idea of what it is that they can get. Because what they can fuck and what they can keep are two different things. Do you understand that as you get into these other things, like the second master's degree, you're making $300,000 a year, you're still really pretty, maybe you're in your late 20s, early 30s. The things men will say to have sexual intercourse with you with no intention of being in a relationship. You guys have ever experienced that? A guy who's front to anybody? Katie, anybody? You guys have ever experienced that?
But these men are saying these things already, like, after I've dated them for a long time.
What I'm saying is, Masha, dudes are going to do. Hold on a second, Masha. Dudes are going to do anything.
Yeah, and they do, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck, bro. What the fuck? Like,
Right. But even when they're believable, do you understand? So what happens is, just think, maybe not just you, but from a societal level, all these women who are like, I fucked the power forward, therefore the NBA power forward is the baseline for the man that I deserve from that point forward. Maybe not just you, but in general, some other girls that are like this. And then what happens from that point is, now every other guy who does not meet that standard, there's just this little switch in their head. They're like, well, he makes less money than me and he's not 6'8". And there's all these other problems, and some women become delusional, for lack of a better term, for the idea of what it is that they can get. Because what they can fuck and what they can keep are two different things. But because the dudes will say fucking anything to have sex with you, you start to conflate these two things, and then that's where you end up with massive. You have friends that are bottle servers, and they just keep going after one bad dude after another. You've probably seen it over and over, and you can't figure it out. And it just, one guy's named Brock, and the next one's named Kyler, and and like you look at him, you're like, dude, it's the same guy. This guy's gonna fucking cheat on you. You can tell, right? No, you can't say that one. You can't say that one. You cannot say that one. We cannot say that one.
Yeah, ladies, it's very simple. The guy will say anything. The guy will say anything to appease your ego. So if you're a successful woman that makes a lot of money, he'll tell you, "Oh, it's so awesome that you're successful and make money." But he's gonna say whatever to fuck. Put it this way, ladies: a guy doesn't take you serious until he gets on one knee and marries you. Done.
Yeah, all bets are off until you say I do.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say earlier is, like,
Go
one of my friends actually sent me a voice message earlier in the week saying, I think I met my dream girl. She's like 5'2", she's blonde, she's this and that and all these things, and she has no social media.
Nice.
That's one of the things that he emphasized is, like, she doesn't have Facebook.
Guys
she
hate social media on girls.
She doesn't have anything. And he was like, she's like fresh. Like, she's 21. She's like fresh. She's new.
Baby.
Like,
she's a ghost.
Like,
no
so like nobody else is like scouting her, basically.
But it's not just that. You know what the other part is? It's when you're hanging out with your homies, and sometimes they're lying, and they're like, oh yeah, I fucked her too. And you're like, God damn. But when they don't have social media, you don't have to worry about that shit. They don't even know to have that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Very true.
And that part of that insecurity. And a lot of times the dudes are not even telling the truth. They're just fucking capping and say that shit.
Oh, for
but
sure.
Did this happen to you before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the other reason why they like when girls don't have a social media presence.
I love when I go to, like, my party spot with my friends, right? I bring a girl out, they're like, who's that girl? They don't know who she is.
They don't know who she is.
Love that.
Yeah, I don't think women understand how bad it is when, like, everybody knows who you are.
Facts.
It's really embarrassing, bro. It really is. Like if girls knew.
Means you've been passed around?
No, it's even because, look, man, when a girl's outside all the time or whatever, the assumptions alone can tarnish your reputation.
Yeah.
When a girl's like, oh, I know this guy, whatever. Like when that girl was saying, like, all my billionaire friends, you know what I was thinking in my head? Ho. When a girl's on a private jet, ho. Girl going on vacation, extravagant places, ho. That's how men think. When I see a girl on Instagram doing things and living a certain lifestyle, I automatically assume, ho. And here's the thing. You might have paid for it yourself. You might have had a rich boyfriend that, owns a lube company. You might have divorced a rich guy. But guys aren't going to sit there and be like, let me go ahead and investigate. They're just going to assume, ho. Just like if I met you at a club and you didn't like the way I looked or whatever, or maybe it was dressed poorly, you would assume, I'm not giving this guy a chance. Fuck that. Men judge a book by its cover too. The difference is this. You have to outwardly reject men and tell them I'm not interested. Men will silently reject you and think, whore, I'm not going to take her seriously. Even if you paid for your own trips, your own private jets.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, going back to what he says. So now, let's say they have the preconceived notion because they saw the private jet or they saw the multiple trips to Saint-Tropez or whatever, and then they start thinking that. And then when they approach you, the man who is trying to be in a relationship with you and the man who is just trying to have sex with you, it's hard to tell the difference.
They say the same things.
They say the same things. And especially the guys who are really good at having sex with the girls, they're really good at making you think that. And again, we get back to the same thing.
But Michael, I met my ex-fiance like right after my first Maxim cover came out.
Right, but you also told me he was a narcissist, remember?
No,
But ex.
Yeah.
But he's
Keyword
your ex, right?
Exit out. That's what the X
But
stands
but
for.
do you understand the point I'm trying to make though? Is like you can't like the guys who are really good. You know guys who are really good on job interviews, the ones who keep getting fired because they keep going to the first interview and over again. The guys who like. A guy who's like a really great guy, he's going to be fucking terrible on that first date, but you aren't going to be able to tell the difference. And this is what happens. It's what Dr. Buss calls an evolutionary mismatch. These guys who are so good at making you think that they want a relationship, they're conflated with the ones who actually do want a relationship. And now in your mind, you start thinking because you were fucking Blake Griffin that is the type of man that you're going to get from this point forward. And I use him for example because this dude has run through half my friends. It's just one of these situations where this shit keeps happening, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so now what happens is the woman starts thinking, because I had sex with Leonardo DiCaprio, this is what I should expect from this point forward. And this delusional mindset then goes later, and you see it over and over again with these ladies where they start thinking, because I fucked this guy and we'll just give him a 9.8, this is what I'm going to end up marrying, and it doesn't work out that way. And then they end up, 40. And dude, there's a girl in Miami right now. She's a friend of mine. She's a VIP host. This girl can get me in anywhere, any VIP effortlessly. And she goes up and she hugs all the other like security guards and hosts. And it feels like I would never date this girl, but it feels like she's fucked all of them. It like legitimately seems like that. This woman is like a fullback. This woman's like Moose Johnson for Emmitt Smith. She just opens a hole for everything I want. But I would never go out with her.
Is she white?
Yeah, she is white.
I know who you mean.
You know exactly who it is. Yes.
But I'll answer your point, right? So for example, right now, bro, like think about it. If you can't tell who's going to be a husband or who's going to be like a fuck buddy, for example, look at the effort. So for example, if most guys are out there, right, telling you the same thing, telling you whatever you want to hear, look at the effort behind what they're saying. If the actions match words, then it might be true. But if not, it's false.
But if they have a lot of money, it can look like a fucking ton of effort, and it's not a lot of effort.
True.
And then and that's the issue that ends up happening. And I'm not trying to say this to like say men are right or women are right or men are wrong, whatever. My point is that the issue that I see often is what he says, but what you guys said before about the cheating. The last guy was cheating on you. Now you have a dude who's like being honest with you, and you like want to break up with him. And the problem is you're confused because you ended up sleeping with an MLB player. You think that this is this is now the baseline for the type of man you can get. No, this is the baseline for the type of man you can fuck. That is the difference. And it's just so, especially.
And it's not an accomplishment.
Right.
Girls, punch out of their league for sex all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of women don't understand that like sex and a relationship are two different things. But girls think, oh, I fucked this guy, I deserve this guy. No, you don't.
I avoid athletes and all that shit like the plague.
Now you do.
Yeah, now you do. But you fucked them before.
I have never fucked an
dude.
athlete. I never wanted. I slept with one
Cap.
celebrity. No.
Cap.
No. I slept with one celebrity, and he's like a wholesome, good guy, 15 years sober, and strictly because I was like, I don't know anyone who's touched this man, and like, he's wow. But athletes and everything, no, I stay away from them. I don't want that because I'm like, what? Why? I'm gonna fuck you, and then you're gonna treat me like shit and never talk to me again, or what? We're maybe gonna fall in love. Like, no, I'm good. I'd rather shoot my shot with like a normal human being.
But how do you know that though? If you never slept with any?
Because I see my fucking friends.
Yeah, we
that's
watch
what I
our
was going to
friends
say. You've
do
probably
it.
seen your friends.
I see my
By
fucking
association,
friends.
though, you still know from your friends though.
I see my friends get treated like shit, or see my friends brag, oh, I fucked whatever the fuck his name is. I'm like, who the fuck cares? You look like a dumb fuck. You are a literal idiot.